All right, we're back. VIBE Edu as we've been traveling. Mitch's been in Hawaii. I mean, we've been doing PD. Oh, Kim's mad. Kim's been in Cabo. So you got nothing to be mad about. But we are back together.
He doesn't like me anymore.
I know. It'll go away. By the end of the episode, she'll be loving you, Mitch.
Maybe.
So we're back for this staff wellness summer series. Just a reminder, we're going to be doing shorter episodes. Typically in the past, we've done somewhere anywhere between 35, 45, 55 minutes, depending on how passionate we are on the topic. But this time we're going to be doing around 15 minutes just for the summertime. So just want to remind everyone of that. So episode 1, if you miss it, we did end of the year practices to help with burnout. Second time, we talked about leaning on our teams to make sure that we have mental wellness throughout the school year, which helps the culture of the school. The third one is going to be an interesting one, and this is on hiring practices. And so, TJ, I know that you talked about it last episode a little bit, but I would love for you to give clarification, because I think most folks, when they think about staff wellness, the hiring practices are probably not high on the list of things that they consider. So why should they think about hiring practices specifically on this topic?
Good question, Josh. But I think they are really something that we should dovetail. Like, we should really be thinking about hiring. When we have a position for hire, there's an opportunity to think about the school as a whole and the wellness of the school and the completeness, if you will, of the team, so that we strengthen what we already have to take things and make things just that much easier for the current people because of the strengths of the people we're bringing on. And so let me say just a little bit more about that. Something we wrote about in Building a Winning Team was the archetype of the position and the archetype of the person. So I'll start with the archetype of the person. There is an archetype. There are the qualities of the people who you want to hire. These are the characteristics that you want everybody to have: work ethic, passion, a love for kids. You want to build that archetype, just like we would build a portrait of a graduate for our students. We want to build an archetype of the person we want working in our school. But you can't stop there. And I think a lot of school leaders that'll resonate with school leaders. You can't stop there. You have to draw up the archetype of the position. So when we have a vacancy, we need to do an inventory. What are the years of experience we have on this team or in this grade level? What are the strengths of the people? What are some of the strengths we're losing from the person who left or retired? Those gaps in the team are really important to fill. If we think about like just cultural fit, for example, we can fall into group think. We can fall into less innovation because we're hiring people who act and think like us. We can fall into a trap where we're hiring for comfort because the people are doing and saying the things that we would do and say. The opposite is where I would say you can get better staff wellness by hiring people who fill gaps and have strengths that we don't have. And a rising tide lifts all ships, right? When they come on and they're gung-ho and they're able to do things that we don't already do, that's when we can think about hiring as a staff wellness strategy. And I really think a school wellness strategy too. But it's more complicated than posting a position, right? But that's what we find to be very common in schools. Post a position, have it open for a little while, see who applies, maybe hire for cultural fit, which I would argue against. That was my rant.
No, I was good. I was going to say, I ran into this incredible human out here in McKinney, Texas, who just happens to be a social skills teacher at a middle school near my house. It's not the one that my son goes to. It's another middle school. And I was taking a yoga class and I was wearing my t-shirt, my tank top that says teach social emotional skills, don't expect them. And she literally looked at me and was like, "Are you a teacher?" And because we were just taking yoga, I was like in like dancer brain. I was like, "No, I'm not a yoga instructor," because I do get asked that often because it just kind of like comes out. And she's like, "No, your shirt." And I was like, oh, yes, I am. I am a teacher. I am an educator. I coach teachers across the country. And it turned into this conversation. And you guys, honestly, maybe 4 minutes, I was like, she exudes like what you would want at every single middle school in that position, that woman. And I knew in 4 minutes, I was like, she's mine. Oh, she's mine. I want her in the community. I want her in all these things, because there was just something like oozy. And when you said the word archetype, I was like, okay. And I'm like literally trying to anchor to like, what is that, Kim? What are all of those things that you look for when you're like, it's that? And so I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool to talk about that. Like when you see somebody like that, like what is it? Like I could see the passion, I could see the love for kids, I could see all of that, but there's got to be more than that, because it is like it's like this light switch sort of a thing. So I don't know. I mean, Josh, you've interviewed multiple teachers and
thousands of teachers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I want to go back to what teacher was talking about with that trap, because I think there's a couple things that occur that you can fall into really, really easily. And I think you do it because of simplicity or because of time, right? A lot of administrators feel like, I got to fill this position, but I don't want to spend a ton of time doing it. And so, TJ talked about it. You post the position and you're just kind of hoping that someone, throws a resume in there, and then you go through the hiring process. That's usually a 30 to 60-minute interview with maybe the principal and the AP. And the problem with that is what we found was, one, I mean, you don't allow ownership with anyone else, any other stakeholder. So your students aren't involved, your teachers aren't involved, your other leadership is not involved. So you're just essentially pushing that person onto them. Second of all, a lot of times people can say the right thing. They know all the terms, they know all the things that you want to hear, but they don't live it, right? And so what we found was we had some hires that, around the round table, they look like gold. They were saying all the right things. And then they got into the classroom and we're like, who's this person? This is not the person we thought we were hiring based on what was being said. And then in reality, it's like, do they even love kids? Like it was drastically different, right? And so now we're scrambling to be like, well, we made a horrible mistake. Is there a way to fix it now that we've hired them? And I don't think anyone wants to be in that position. So for us, we had to like kind of revamp our hiring practices, and we did this in a lot of different ways. And unfortunately, people had to kind of prove it. So, if we had a teacher position open, we would give them a mock lesson plan, like whatever your subject is, whatever the grade level we're looking at, here's a mock lesson plan, construct it, bring it to the interview. We talk through it. Then we even scaled it further by saying, okay, we're actually going to ask if you'll teach a class period. So the lesson plan that you've constructed, we'd like to see it implemented in the classroom to get a real idea of what your teaching style is, how you connect with kids. And then after that was done, we'd ask the kids, like, how did you like that? And we would just say it's a substitute teacher. We didn't tell them they were there to get hired for the position as far as the students go. So they got to see the students in real time, what they were like. And we knew it might go off the rails a little bit because, again, they're subbing a class. So we kind of give them some grace in that. I'll give you an example real quick and then I'll throw it to Mitch. But we had a choir teacher. She had all glowing reviews. Her resume looked spotless. She had a YouTube video and her social media. She was teaching. She was doing all these things. We asked her to do the mock lesson plan. She wasn't really digging doing that. Then she did the mock lesson. She didn't do very good in that. And then we had another teacher that came in. Her resume wasn't as good. She didn't have the social media. She didn't have the cloud, all that kind of stuff. She killed the lesson. Well, for me, I got mixed up in the whole like video montage that I saw. And I was like, oh, I want her, Didn't take into effect that the mock lesson wasn't very good. She didn't teach very well. It just seemed off the whole time. She didn't seem very interested, but the other lady killed it. Well, thanks to my principal was like pushing for this other girl. We hired the other lady, the one that I wasn't into. She turned out to be our teacher of the year next year. To TJ's point, she changed the culture, not only of her subject matter, but the entire school. She was a rock star, but we never would have hired her if we would have just done the sit down 30-minute interview, because we had a perception already on paper and in video of this other lady. And it would have been a terrible hire And she was just like, to your point, Kim, this radiant of light. Everywhere she went, every room she entered, she just made it better. Why wouldn't you want someone like that on your campus, right? But we had to be a little more creative in our practices to make sure we got the right person. And thankfully, I feel like we built that in so it wasn't just myself and the principal doing all the interviews.
Mm-hmm.
There was my rant.
That was good. That was good. Mitchell?
Teachers who are, I would just say, because I've not been admin, but as department chair, I sat in on, nobody got into my department if I wasn't on the interview, right? Of course. But like we were saying before we hit record, that some schools don't do that. Like admin hires and you're just like, here's your new teacher. I never did that. But it's, to echo what you're saying, Josh, yeah, rethinking just the process to try to get at those attributes. And some people are just really good at it. It's like a sixth sense, like they said a thing and it's like, I don't really care about your resume. I do. I mean, there's some stuff we got to look at legally and, et cetera. Do you have the right credentialing? But even if you don't, it's like, you're the person. And I think there's something there that certain people have. And maybe we don't have it. It just that what you experience, like this lady there's something here that's not on paper. Mm-hmm. And I was going to joke, Josh, that, you guys didn't just rely on social media to hire your teachers? I'm shocked. It's so reliable. But
social media will tell you a lot, actually. We found some pretty interesting posts that we didn't hire someone about.
But we've all had that experience where it seems like just the perfect fit. And then week one of the school year, you're like, oh boy, this is not what I had thought. But I would say this for the teachers listening, if you are interviewing and you're out there looking, put your resume together, have the package and all that, but don't be afraid to be you. Bring yourself to the conversation, bring yourself and ask like, hey, I'd love to do a mock lesson. I'd love to interact with some kids, right? Assuming you like kids and you want to teach. If you don't, then maybe don't go for it. But yeah, I think it's important to bring the human side of who you are, because those are kind of the intangible bits that people will pick up on.
It's interesting. You, Mitch, you had talked to me about an open position in Hawaii, and I just happened to have.
Was this when I was in Hawaii?
Yes, in Hawaii.
Okay. Mitch goes to Hawaii a lot.
Okay.
For work. Go ahead. I was there for work.
Okay. So my teacher, I have a teacher who I was like, she would be a great fit. And so we kind of were talking about this. I was like, send me your resume, all the things. And I looked at the resume and instantly I was like, that's not you. That's not you. Where are you on this one page? Right. You are. And I had to say to her, you are like Miss Honey. You are that teacher who shows up for kids, who goes to the soccer games on Saturdays. You are the teacher who has the chants and all the fun things. You do you every single day. And this white page does not show you, your heart, your soul, what you really bring to the table. And so I think for teachers who are listening, please, if you are interviewing for a position, make sure that your heartbeat is on that page, at least a little bit of it. And when you are sitting there in the interview, you do not be afraid to be you. Like I went to a yoga class the other day and this is what they talked about. And this is how I bring that into my classroom. Like that. Oh, all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I can feel you. I know it's going to be like to experience you in the classroom. So yeah, that's like a takeaway for sure. Sorry, TJ, did you want to say something?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, if people are struggling to what Josh and Mitch were just saying, if people were struggling to connect staff wellness to hiring, just imagine, flip it, and imagine the stress we put on the teachers if we hire the wrong person into their team or into their hallway or into their grade level or into their department. We add that one person who's not right. They don't fit the archetype of the people. They don't fit the archetype of the position, and it stresses everybody out. And so that's where I would align to wellness. So cool topic. I'm sure we could do a long version of it, but we're coming up on time.
We are. Well, we're going to be talking next time on teacher retention and the things that we can do to help. I know a lot of folks are feeling stressed. Maybe not right this moment because a lot of folks are on summer break. Hopefully they're relaxing and rejuvenating for the new year. But specifically in the spring, everybody was kind of stressed and kind of reflecting on what are the next steps, either to make themselves better. Do I need to move to a different district, different campus, different position in regards to our own staff or our own wellness? And so I think this is a very important topic. Can't wait to dive into that. If you need anything, of course, our websites are in the show notes as we always discuss. And then, of course, we have our VIBE Edu mailbag coming up too. So if there's something that you want to discuss on this topic or anything else that we've discussed in the past, feel free to reach out and let us know. And we'd love to jump into there and answer those questions. Mitch, just to give you a little feedback, in a comment section on Spotify, someone thanked you for your answer in regards to executive functioning with their college student. So we touched on that in the mailbag. So they reached out saying a giant thank you. So I just wanted to relay that to you.
Okay. You're welcome.
So that's your gold star for the day, buddy.
Thank you. I need a gold star today.
All right, y'all. We'll see you again very, very soon. We'll see you next week.